How does really accomplished people focus on reinvesting in themselves? The other day I bumped into Patrik Andersson, chairman of AAK, a company in Sweden with a revenue of $4.55 billion. And I asked him, Patrick, how do you balance reinvesting profits in the company to create a company for tomorrow, so to speak, but also take shareholders' will into account and paying out dividends? How do you balance these two opposite wills? He answered like this. It's an important balance. Without reinvesting profits, you're only milking the company. First priority is investments in the company, like machinery, then comes research and development, and on third place comes the shareholders. Company has a policy that it should be paying a dividend that should increase each year. And this reminds me what Stephen Covey wrote in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People about production versus production capability. And that means that we must reinvest in ourselves in order to improve production capability. Without that, we cannot increase productivity and we risk being left behind. A company continually needs to focus on developing products for tomorrow and aim for where the market will be in the future. Usually companies with the longest bets win. So there are two opposites that we can investigate here. This is the person who only focuses on education, but never actually produce anything or work. This can be a person who spends years in different programs in schools, but actually never start working. Maybe they like education so much or they use it as a way to avoid actually working. This usually leads to stagnation and poverty because they get deeper and deeper into debt and actually never earn any money. So here on the other hand is the person who only works but never focuses on improving themselves. And this is a huge risk that many people face. Maybe they get comfortable in their job and they stop educating themselves. This is typical for the working class and the lower middle class. They tend to stop developing themselves and stay where they are. And also typical for this group is that they focus more on working harder and longer hours to make more instead of developing themselves and working smarter. This person will risk being left behind because if they lose their job, they might not be able to get a new one if the market has developed a lot or seen a lot of changes due to AI or something. And this might also lead to stagnation and poverty because they are not developing themselves and they are staying where they're at. For the small business owner, there is also the great risk of only working but actually not improving the business. This is very, very easy to slip into as a business owner. We might get stuck in the way we're doing things and we're not open to change. I've seen this tendency in many business owners, sometimes also in myself, and it is a major cause for failure because we're not staying updated to the market needs. So what is then the solution? We need to have a balance between these two. We need to both keep re-educating ourselves so that we can work smarter, but we also need to put that to work so that we actually do the work. And then these go really well hand in hand. And this might mean that we're taking part-time courses to specialize even more because the market really values specialization. It might also mean that we take courses to become better at planning and better at management and managing ourselves and others. And as a business owner, we always need to ask what the market wants and needs. And those are the products and services we should offer. We cannot only fall in love with products and services that we have offered in the past, because the market's needs will constantly be changing. And depending if it's a recession or a boom, the market will be wanting different things. So then we need to develop new products and services to serve the market. And companies that don't do this, they risk dying and being left behind. So the remedy for that is to constantly ask the market what it needs. We can ask our customer, if I built this, would you be interested? Or what are your biggest problems right now and how can I help you solve them? So once again, we balance the production with production capability. When we have them together, then we can work really efficiently.